delicious. Like the ding-ding at their opening. Just like the ding-ding. There's nothing referee Nick Banana could do. It was before the bell was rang. Nick Banana is going to have his hands full. He's got the superstar tossed around by the unstoppable Brody King.
Out of the corner. Come on, Brody.
Let's look at this match. Jake Atlas, superstar, absolutely. 2017 Rookie of the Year. Brody King has been Santino champion for 456 days, the longest in Santino Brothers history.
Brody King was a champion, but Jake is still a rookie.
Absolutely. Brody has defended that title. He won that title off of Tyler Bateman. He defended it against Willie Mack, against Ruby Reyes, against Joey Chaos.
Is having trouble finding any kind of refuge in the ring right now. Brody King just boots him, slaps him, pushes him into his way.
Jake Atlas is having a hard time breathing in there when he's getting shot.
Brody looks unfazed.
Come on, Jake.
Hear that? Oh my God!
Brody just
Come on, Jake. That shit from God,
Santino like chops there. Big boot. Just move. Move. We don't even have to say anything. You can hear the shots. They tell the story for us.
They're in full power now.
Here comes Atlas. Over. Hands on his feet.
Quickly moves out of the way for him to hurry before Brody can knock him off.
Springing in, gonna go for that backflip into the cutter.
Brody crashing down on the floor. This one really covered.
Oh my God!
Brody having none of it.
That wasn't a kick out. He tossed him off him forcefully.
Dear Lord, that was a bench press. Oh, Atlas off the middle rope. This one has to go up.
Oh, damn it, suplex!
Brody using Atlas's own momentum.
Here's the impressive thing. Jake Atlas had to fight tooth and nail for this shot against Tyler Bateman last week. Atlas, well, wait a second here. Defense!
2 count.
Atlas, he said he's willing to turn over a new leaf. I don't believe him. He told me before the show started he wants Atlas to stand for all the people around the world that might look up to him someday. All the people at Santino Brothers who are looking up to the efforts that he put in. Jake Atlas broke his neck in training before he graduated this school. Brody was there. He knows this weakness and he's exploiting it.
Like it's so empty. Oh my God, a senton from Brody King.
Pull the air out of the lungs of Atlas. Could be an easy defense here, but Atlas barely got the shoulder up. Oh my God.
Won't be that easy for Brody King to walk away with it.
You know how like when Bateman looks over here and I'm terrified? Brody looks over here and I get equally terrified.
Brody wrenching Atlas's neck.
That neck is... A broken neck never truly fully heals, and you've got to wonder what this is doing to Jake Atlas. He's got the elbow right there.
Taking the ring in his face and cheek.
You've got to wonder, these are techniques that Brody King, Jesus, is having in his chest. The dirty tactics of Brody King, it's things he had to have learned from Marty Scurll. Him and Marty Scurll just recently won a set of tag team titles, and he joined him as part of Villain Enterprises along with PCO. Wait a second.
Hockey cover from Brody King, and it comes out just a 1 count.
Brody King just signing with Ring of Honor, aligning himself with PCO and Marty Scurll.
You know, you saw a lot of this match. This is Brody King. Don't count out Jake Atlas. He and Brody were in the same class getting started here at Santino.
They heard that all over Bill Parks. They heard it in Los Angeles. They heard it in Disneyland. Everywhere. Good God.
I think there were handprints on my chest. He gave me stigmas.
You are. Oh my God. You are. Oh my God. It's like you were saying. They were in the same class. What a pedigree that class is. Both Brody King and Jake Atlas. Brody King signed Jake Atlas.
Jake Atlas recently had a tryout at the WWE performance.
He was there.
Oh, wow, another bloody blow from Brody King.
No! Cannonball!
On that middle rope.
That could be it. Jake might be done here. 1, 2, and last I looked at my WWE, Brody King has been signed on Ring of Honor. This very well could be the last time we see either man in a Santino Brothers ring.
Brody getting his foot on the Jake Atlas. Well, driving him over.
Jesus. If Brody King has his way, Jake Atlas isn't going to go to WWE. He's going to go to the hospital with another broken neck.
That's right.
Phenomenal shot.
The air is out of my chest. Oh my God.
You can, well, every one of these shots just ringing in her head from 10 feet away.
100% correct.
This is what you want, Jake. At the corner.
Brody King with fireworks on Jake Atlas.
Funny enough, I think this is exactly what Jake Atlas wants. If he's going to win the Santino Brothers Heavyweight Championship, he wants the best Brody King possible. And Brody, for better or worse, is giving him the best. This is what Atlas has to do. Stay on his bicycle. Keep going. Keep fighting, Jake. Brody trying to keep Brody on his toes.
Well, off his feet.
Whoa! No! He ducked it! Could not be Jake Atlas ducks this shot. Beautiful roundhouse kick. Jaw jacking Brody King.
Look at that elevation. Brody right in the face. Oh, Atlas on
He's got it. Could he have the title in 1, 2, oh, 2 and 7/8.
I'm trying to put that cheek somehow.
Proud. Show my respect for both men. Both men 100% deserve to be the Santino Brothers Heavyweight Champion.
The colossal power of Brody King, the phenomenal speed of Jake Atlas. Both these men bring their best attributes to the table, doing everything they can to fight for the belt and bring it home.
Jack wants to win this. This dojo means so much to Jake Atlas. You look at the things he tweets on social media. This is everything to Jake. Oh, LGBT. Here it comes.
Oh, Brody catches him up there. Carry. I'm actually a little ahead.
I am too. I'm not. Oh my God.
Jake Atlas, can you continue?
Checking in on Jake Atlas.
He put away all. That's put away so many opponents. He put away Willie Mack. They put away Ruby Vince.
The fighting spirit of Jake Atlas cannot be denied. Like you were saying, this is everything here. This is his own. This is
Come on, Jake.
Jake Atlas wants to represent this. All his heart. Brody King wants to rip the heart out of his chest.
This back and forth is shots.
Is he back and forth? What's the Brody King?
You're right. It was back and forth for a split second, and now Jake doesn't know who he is.
Come on, Jake.
Two-gun salute. Fighting spirit for Brody.
Gets under that arm.
What's up, everybody? I'm Joey Kaz, head coach here at Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, and I want to invite you to join me in my next online pro wrestling course. Now, I get it. You might ask yourself, why would I want to take an online course when I physically want to get in the ring and learn to become a professional wrestler? Look, that's true, but not all professional wrestling training happens inside the ring between those ropes in the middle of that squared circle. A lot of it happens outside of the ring, and that's what we go through in this online course. We're not only going to define, clarify, and give our subjects an understanding, so that way it enhances your ability when you get the opportunity to get back into the wrestling ring and train physically. So join me Monday, January 25th for the next online professional wrestling course with Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, and I look forward to teaching you about the subject that I love the best, professional wrestling. All right, so we're here and we actually have Brody King in the house. Mr. Brody King, you know, he's the pride of Santino Brothers. I know that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. Oh. It totally is going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but, you know, I got to speak from the heart when I talk about Brody King. You know, Brody King is not just a great wrestler, but an incredible leader, an incredible supporter of Santino Brothers Wrestling. So let's go ahead and bring him on here. All right, Brody King, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. Man, hey, I was just watching that match with you and Jake. You guys really beat the crap out of each other, like totally beat the crap out of each other. And I was actually, so I was doing my research, I'm telling everybody, if people want to be on the podcast, right? I say, I'm not a podcaster. So I was doing my research as a podcaster and saying, hey, I was watching a lot of your Ring of Honor stuff, man. And you're like this incredible brawler. I remember probably when you left here, I'd be telling you, hey, man, hey, I love that you do all that lucha stuff, but man, you wrestle like a big man, and you're totally doing it now. You must be 300 plus pounds. I was watching a lot of that stuff, and I totally love of the brawler style that you're bringing today. So how are you today, Brody?
I'm good, man. I'm just day by day doing the same old stuff, trying to stay sane in this crazy world.
Tell me about it, man. I've been struggling here to try to stay in shape. How have you been staying in shape during this time?
My good friend Ryan Nemeth, he had me on a pretty good workout program for a while, where me and my buddy Colin, we were lifting every day. But then once the pandemic stuff got even crazier, we kind of held off on that. I just recently bought a Peloton bike, so I'm gonna start doing stuff like that, and like trying to accumulate some weights and stuff to work out at home. But I would say at Final Battle, that was probably like my peak of strength that I've ever had in my life. I mean, I hit almost 300 on my bench, and I was lifting every 5 times a week. So it felt really good mentally and physically, and hopefully I'll get back to that routine shortly.
And Final Battle, that's when you face Rush, Ring of Honor champion.
Roosh.
Is that correct? Roosh. Roosh. Yeah, man. Hey, that was a hard-hitting match. And I got to be honest, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people watching, and it's just right. It's hard to find the motivation to keep working out every day or doing something, right? Doing something, getting a sweat going. You know what I've been doing, Brody? I've been struggling over here, man. Like, hey, I've been like walking like a couple of miles a day, and that's been like a good get out of the house. It's been a good actual workout, moving the body around, just so. But yeah, that's good to hear that, you got that Peloton bike. I'm pretty sure that's really awesome. Have you actually already started that?
I haven't. I watched Emily take one of the classes the other day, and it looks really cool. I mean, they have like classes based on music you like, or they just have like regular spin classes and stuff like that. But everyone that I know that has gotten one has fallen in love with it, so I'm sure it'll be a great routine. Working out is my least favorite thing in the world, so getting the motivation to do it is everything. But when it's more fun, then I'm more willing to do it.
Man, I mean, you say working out is like, like your least favorite thing to do, but man, you're an incredible hard worker. We're doing this podcast to highlight you and the rest of the alumni at Santino Brothers. So you never worked out before you came to wrestling school?
No, it was always just like I had a very manual labor job where it was very labor intensive, lifting heavy stuff all day. So that kind of like kept me in the realm of shape and kept my strength. And then, wrestling, I never looked at wrestling like working out. It was just fun for me. So, the cardio and stuff sucked, but at the end of the day, I knew that it would make for a better product, which I guess I should think of at the gym, but I've never cared about the Hulk Hogan's or the Ultimate Warriors of wrestling. I remember one time I asked Mongo, I said, do you want a good wrestler or do you want a buff wrestler? And he said, well, I'd rather have a buff wrestler. I said, well, I disagree. And then I walked away. But I've always like respected the guys like Harley Race, who had a big old belly and fucking went out there and did a 60-minute Broadway. Like it was no problem. Lit up a cigarette and did it again the next night.
You know what the great thing is about those guys like Harley Race and even Jerry the King Lawler. Like, you could even take Jerry the King Lawler, for instance, right? So he never got really buff, right? He never even had like jacked arms or anything, right?
So there was a quote where he said that he never got injured because he never worked out.
right. There's a lot of injuries with working out, but also he looks the same now as he did in his prime. And so it doesn't look any different. You don't look at him when you see some of these guys, you're like, wow, this guy got fat, this guy got small, this guy is skinny neck now. Like it almost hurts you to watch him like that. Jerry the King, when you don't work out, looks good. Like a Mongo's giving me the eye, like, hey, don't be teaching these fools not to work out.
I do gotta admit though, once I was in a steady workout routine and lifting a lot, as I saw, my chest get bigger or my arms get bigger, I finally got like a tricep muscle. Like that stuff is cool. Like when you start to see it pop on camera, when you got a good tan on, you're like, damn, I look pretty good. And you start feeling yourself a little bit more. I'm watching that match with Jake. I don't think I ever tanned on the independence. And now I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? Like tanning is everything. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see where it's coming from, but I will definitely never be the like shredded body guy. I just don't like that look personally. And I don't know. It seems like it also comes with a lot of injuries as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely can. I mean, we're always learning about different workouts. You're speaking about those matches, about being the biggest. I was watching you with Rush, with Dalton Castle and Shane Taylor.
Yeah,
Did I get that right? Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus, like, hey man, you're a big dude to be going out there, right? Going out. And let me ask you, say about tanning is everything. How do you feel about tanning with your tattoos?
I mean, my tattoo artist, or not my tattoo artist, my tanning person likes to lie to me and be like, yeah, it enhances the tattoos and stuff, which it absolutely does not. It dulls it and then puts like a film layer over it, but I don't think it makes them look bad by any means. It just makes everything else, it gets enhanced a little bit with the lighting, especially in a professional lit arena like Ring of Honor. If you don't have tan, you just look like you're reflecting light.
Now, I think I must have said this to you like 2 or 3 times already. Like, you don't have any more room to tattoo, and you find more room to tattoo yourself. Are you done yet, or you got more?
No, I got plenty more to go. By plenty more, I probably like if the pandemic didn't hit last year, I would probably be fully covered. Like I would be done. But I said that before, and then I completely covered up my chest. So who knows what's next?
I mean, I guess that's part of the journey, right? What are you gonna do when you tattoo everything? Tattoo your palm or what?
Yeah, I don't think there's like the bottom of my feet or my palms, my throat in the middle, and like my face. I don't think I'll ever do. I'm probably gonna do my head, but I want to be like the second. I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Bam Bam Bigelow is the only professional wrestler that's been on TV that had head tattoos. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right.
There might be. There was just another wrestler on national television that I want to say had tattoos on his head. Of course, it escapes me right now. But yeah, hey, but I got to be honest. I'm going to disagree because there's got to be somebody else on national television level with tattoos on their head. Probably they grew their hair out, right? Does that sound about right?
Maybe.
So,
hey, Brody, well, one thing, Smongo here.
What's up, Mongo?
I believe you love to work out. The reason why I say that is because you're one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, okay? Especially for being a big guy. A lot of big guys don't like to do stuff. They don't like to try stuff, or they have that mentality of, I can't do it, I'm a big dude. But seeing you train with those luchas, it takes a lot of hard work doing some of the stuff that they do, especially for being a big man. You got to be pretty limber and you got it done. And you did it. So when you say working out is the least favorite thing, totally don't believe that. Totally don't believe it. Right?
I would agree with you now. Before it wasn't a thing in my mind, and now it's like when I have someone like Ryan that makes me a program that's like, this is 8 weeks, and then it's like, okay, well, I owe it to him to at least do this. And then when I get a goal set in mind, where my goal was I want to bench 300 pounds, so then it was like I saw myself inching to that, and then eventually, I think I hit 290 for one, and that was like I couldn't hit 295, which sucked, but we'll get there. And like that's the game that I got to play with myself is I have to set those little goals and keep hitting those to keep myself motivated. And also when I have someone to hold me accountable, like Colin did a great job at that. I knew that if he was there by himself, he wasn't having fun, so I had to be there with him to, crank it out.
Are we talking the same Colin that you started pro wrestling school with?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know if many people know. There's an old school wrestler named Augie, and Augie's the reason Brody King broke in. He brought in Colin, right? Colin came about. I don't know. You probably know more. He came a couple of sessions before you, a couple of weeks actually, maybe a couple of months.
Yeah. So Colin's girlfriend at the time worked for the LA Kings, and she knew Augie, and Augie was like a big Kings fan. And they got to talking about wrestling, and Augie was like, "Hey, if your boyfriend ever wants to, run the ropes or take a bump, like I know a school in town that we could probably rent it out, or he might let me use the ring." And so Colin like jumped at that opportunity, and then when he told me about it and he showed me the photos, I was like, "How do I do this?" And I think it was a Dynamite D Memorial Show in 2014, and I think it was May. It was either April or May, and Augie took Colin and I to the Dynamite D Memorial Show, and I walked into the dojo and saw what was going on. I was like, well, this is what I got to do, and I signed up, and Colin didn't. He kept swearing that he was going to, and never happened. But here I am 6 years later.
So let me ask you, like, did you grow up wanting to be a professional wrestler? Is this something a call in your buddy says, "Hey, I'm doing wrestling," and it just boom, light bulb goes off? Like, did you have any idea?
So I have like vivid memories of being in junior high school and like people being like, I want to be this when I grow up, or I want to be that. And I was like, I want to be a professional wrestler. And that dream kind of like fizzles out once you like get into other stuff. Like, when I was 13-ish, wrestling became not cool anymore. Wearing a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt, kids didn't give you a high five. They were like, "Who's this nerd that likes wrestling?" You're like, wait, what? Like, this is the coolest thing in the world. What are you talking about? But then, I got into music, and then I got into high school, and music kind of like took over everything. I also never knew that there was professional wrestling schools. I didn't know that there was like an independent wrestling circuit. I thought that the WWE found you and you went and trained at their facility until they put you on TV. I knew of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, but I didn't know how any of those guys got there either. So it was just a big mystery. And then once I found out that there was wrestling schools, I was like, hey, this sounds like a good way to get in shape or stay in shape and have fun. And then it became my entire life.
Let me ask you this. How were you as a kid? Were you highly motivated like you are now, or are you pretty lazy? Did they have to tell you multiple times to do something?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I've always just been the person where if I'm not interested in something, I'm just not going to do it. Like, I didn't like sports. I didn't like football. I didn't like basketball. I didn't like any of it. Like, I would play it and I would try it. I think I tried every sport at least one season, and I just never went back to it. In high school, I joined the wrestling team, and that was like, well, I like wrestling as a kid, and this is like the closest I'm ever going to get to it. So that was I excelled at wrestling because I liked it, and I liked video games, and that was about it. And music, and those three things, I kind of excelled at all of them.
You you definitely do, because you got a Twitch channel, right? You got your Twitch channel where you're playing your game, you're doing your wrestling, and so you're talking about the music. How did you get into that? You said you got into it through school.
Yeah, I mean, like, just friends. When you transition from like elementary school to junior high school, you have kids that are about to go into high school, and
we might have lost him.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah, he's a little frozen. So maybe he'll come back right now. We're live with Brody King. People. He was saying that Batman Bigelow might have been the only one with head tattoos, and some people had came in and said Umaga, but I think he had paint. Right? Am I wrong? Could I be wrong? Oh, there he is. He is back. And then Bad Luck Fale, they said had head tattoos.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, we got everybody watching, so they were trying to, straighten this out. Yeah, so you were telling us about how you got into, because I don't know if anybody knows, right? You might know Brody King as the ass kicker from Santino Brothers, Ring of Honor, and all these wrestling shows, but also you're lead vocalist of God's Hate. Am I correct?
Yes. So yeah, when I was in junior high school, I would see kids that had, AFI t-shirts, and I was like, what's that? And I would check that band out. Or Bad Religion. Like, I would go to Warehouse Music, which was like they had like a big used CD collection or section. And the kids around my neighborhood would always skate. And I went in there, I said, I want skateboard music. And the guy was like, what the fuck do you mean skateboard music? And I heard it on the radio, and it was Bad Religion. And I was like, whatever is playing right now, that's what I want. And they went to the CD changer that they had in the store, and they pulled the CD out. It was Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction. And that was my first CD. And like, it was punk rock. And I was like, this is it. This is all I want. And I became a little punk rock skate kid, all of junior high. And then in high school, I started going to shows around town, and it just kind of became everything.
What do they call it? You must have been like one of those moshers, right? In the mosh pit.
Yeah.
Busting up. I read some stuff on your Twitter where people go, oh, I know this guy. I know Brody King. Yeah, he knocked a dude out cold at the last show. I was sad. But yeah, man, that's crazy, right? So you had to go through this avenue of going through music, meeting Colin, in order to find professional wrestling.
Yep.
Did you think when you started wrestling in high school, did you think there would be a ring, or no, you were smarting up to that?
Yeah, I knew what it was. Like, but whenever the wrestling coach was not in the room, we were practicing WWF moves.
That's everybody, right? Right. You joined the wrestling school because you love wrestling and you don't know where to go, right? You don't know what to do.
Yeah, I think Jeff Cobb actually said that he started wrestling because he thought that it was going to be like WWF style. He didn't, and then he became an Olympian.
Yeah.
But that's a key takeaway right here is doing your passion, doing what you love. Because if we would have stuck Brody in a warehouse, he would not excel. But since he loves music, wrestling, and video games, he excelled in all three. Right?
Yeah.
Definitely always stick with what you love and chase your dreams.
Hey, speaking of music, Adnan has a question.
Louder. That's Jezebel in the background.
Hello. Hi, Brody.
Hi.
Basically, Adnan wants to know, outside of metal and hardcore and I guess skateboard music, who is your favorite musical artists?
Lady Gaga. Pop music is I probably listen to that as much as I listen to aggressive music.
Come on.
I want to hear you do karaoke to Lady Gaga.
There is a video on YouTube. You can look it up. It is called the Gay Young Classic, and I lip sync battled a drag king after my match at Madison Square Garden in a bar in Brooklyn to Lady Gaga, Bad Romance.
I'm so looking for this.
That was a great question from Adnan. I would have never expected. I thought he was gonna say, I don't know, Bad Bones or some hardcore, but I guess he just
said Lady Gaga.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I gotta be honest. What's that song that Bradley Cooper, right? The actor. Dude, this guy's got it all, man. This guy can sing. He sings with Lady Gaga, and I love that song, man.
Key advice. If you are on a long tour, missing your family, do not watch A Star Is Born in the middle of it because it will ruin the rest of your night.
I bawled at that movie anyway. So.
Yeah, in a hotel room in the middle of the night in Japan, I was crying my eyes out.
You're breaking my heart, Brody.
Yeah, it was sad. It was. Sylvia and I went to the movie theater like at midnight, and we left before it ended because it was really getting real sad, and we were just like, we need to get out of here.
I imagine that experience, like seeing it in the theaters. You just hear so many sniffles, like.
But well, Lady Gaga, Halston Body says, "Hot damn." Yeah, definitely just made his night. So,
but yeah, Lady Gaga, Robin, LaRue, Katy Perry, like it goes down the list. If it's like dance pop music, I'm down with it and I like it.
I would have never guessed that, Brody.
He is great. I'll go swinging from the chandeliers all day.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, right. So like, hey. So what you sing doesn't mess up your rep with what you like, huh? That's pretty. No. That's pretty good, right? Brody King don't give a fuck, right?
And you can't.
Whenever people say like, "What's your guilty pleasure?" I always say that there's no such thing as a guilty pleasure in music. Like what you like because you shouldn't be ashamed of it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you have to, right? So, man, so all right, so you kind of fumbled into the wrestling business, right? So people, what made you want to stay in wrestling school, right? Because I think a lot of people go in and I want to hold the belt up in the middle of the ring, and it's like, hey, get through the role first and get through the year of training. So what made you stay? What made you think you can make a go at this?
So I've always been a very competitive person, which is why I did not like team sports, because I knew I had to rely on other people. Which is why I liked wrestling so much in high school. Is if I fucked up, then it was on me. Obviously, there's team points, but if I won my match, I could be proud of that just as much as if I lost it, I could be mad at myself. And I felt like wrestling school, it was all competition. It was like I had to be the best one in the class. I had to be, the first one in, last one out. I had to be not praised, but like I wanted to be the top student, and I was until Jake Atlas showed up. But yeah, it was hard at first. Don't get me wrong. My first day, I remember Robbie was leading drills, and it was like we were doing some kind of push-up circuit, and it was like we were on our over 100 push-ups, and I could not push myself back up off the ground. And I just like got on my knees, and he just looked at me and said, just don't stop. Like, I don't care if you do it, just don't stop. And I said, okay. And I like would fall and get back up and fall again. And it was just like, I don't know. I liked the fact that it was all about competition and not quitting, because that's kind of what I've always been about, is just do what you can. Just don't quit.
Let me ask you, how'd you do in high school?
What's that?
How'd you do in high school wrestling?
I went to CIF 2 years, which is like, I guess California is so big that it splits state into two. It's like northern and southern region, and then you go to state. So I don't know, it's confusing. But I went to like, I guess it's the regional finals twice. Okay. My freshman year and my senior year, 189 and heavyweights.
Were you 6'5" when you were wrestling in high school?
Yes. So I don't remember when like my growth spurt hit. I mean, obviously sometime in junior high, but I remember entering high school. I was probably the height I am now, but I was 185 pounds. There's a photo of me where on the wrestling team, and I was skinny as hell, and just the tallest one in the back row, and just so skinny. And then I think when I graduated, I was around 220. So I still didn't like fully develop until, I was closer to my 20s.
What's your eating like, Brody?
Oh, I eat everything. I don't believe in dieting.
Right. Speaking of eating, he not only eats everything, Brody King makes everything.
Yeah.
I need my pork rub. I'm out.
Jezebel's
Okay.
yelling for pork rub.
Please.
Brody's over there making the
Steaks.
perfect medium rare steaks. What's your favorite cut? What's your favorite cut to cook?
My favorite cut ever is just the ribeye. I mean, the tomahawk bone-in ribeye is unbeatable. But yeah, the ribeye is my favorite cut on earth.
Yeah, and if anyone hasn't had a chance to see that, I don't know if the videos are still posted on his Twitch, but I would sit there and Brody's got it all professional. He's got like 3 videos, 1 on him, 2 on his hands. Like he's got it all down set and showing you how to cook. Like, man, that's money right there, right? Who taught you how to cook?
My dad was definitely my cooking inspiration. He owns a barbecue business out in Palmdale where he lives. He's always been really great at cooking, and it's always been like just out of nowhere. Like we would come home and he'd be like, "Oh, I made chicken cordon bleu," and I'm like, "You don't even know how to spell it. How did you make it?" Like, and he doesn't use the internet. He like barely knows how to Google things. So it's like he just thinks about like what's in it, and then he just wings it, and it's usually turns out really good. Even recently, he came over and he made stuffed pork chops, and he put all kinds of weird shit in it, and it was like dried cranberries and dried kiwis and and I was looking at it, I'm like, this is gonna be disgusting. And then we ate it, I was like, damn, that was good as hell. So you know, I'll never doubt Kevin when it comes to food. But that's definitely where I get my passion for cooking is him and my dad's or my mom's dad used to own a restaurant, and I grew up and he would always cook breakfast and make a lot of things. And yeah, cooking's just always been like sort of therapeutic for me, I guess, like a stress relief. I just like being in the kitchen whenever there's like big parties. I like to be the one serving everybody.
Does your mom cook?
It brings me joy. What's that?
Does your mom cook?
Yeah, she cooks. You know, she made dinner every night when I was a kid. I always give her hell for her chicken because I think her chicken was abysmal, and she would make it every week, no matter what. But I don't think she would even consider herself a great cook, but she's good at a few things.
All right.
So you've been cooking since you were young, then, huh?
Yeah, you know, I always had like an interest in like baking cookies or stuff like that, but it wasn't until the beginning of the pandemic that I went out and I bought a smoker and I said, I'm going to learn how to smoke meat. And which is funny because my dad has been trying to get me to learn it for years. And it was just like me getting a wild hair up my ass. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go buy a smoker and we're going to just test it out. And I watched YouTube videos on Aaron Franklin, you know, the proclaimed best barbecue person on the planet. And I just did what he did. And I just, you know, would switch things up to my style or whatever my flavors I wanted. And yeah, that's how I learned how to smoke meat and start to barbecue really well.
Man, if those are videos of you learning how to do it, I mean, it looks perfect. And you bring up baking. And we talk about the barbecue, and I've had the pleasure of tasting your pops' barbecue and eating your pops' food, and it's spectacular. And I've had the pleasure of eating your food that you've cooked. But let me tell you something.
Oh, shit.
Brody King, we would do these Santino brothers get-togethers up all nights or something like that, barbecues. Everybody would bring something. Brody King would bring Oreo cookie, brownie, chocolate chip cookie, all rolled into one.
Pretzels, every.
Oh my gosh!
Apples.
Yeah, I think I had a toothache for 2 months after Brody. Yeah,
You would make me bring 2, and then you would take one to your house, and you'd do it.
We're blowing the cover.
hey, that's better than just saying bring it and then taking it to the house. I was still thinking of the peeps.
That's
You know, I was still thinking of everybody else. Oh my gosh! So,
yes, BB sweet treats are the bomb.
oh my gosh! Right, BBC. Give your mom a plug in the BB sweet treats. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so where my mom might be lacking in the food department, she definitely makes up for in the desserts. She owns a dessert company. My mom and my sister, they do, you know, custom caramel apples and all kinds of stuff, Oreos and pretzel sticks, and they do really good stuff. But yeah, on Instagram it's BB Sweet Treats, and they'll deliver pretty much anywhere in the LA area. But every big holiday they break it out, and they've been doing really well. I think in Christmas time they made like 1,000 apples or something like that. So
Jeez, yeah.
they got like they got their workshop in the garage, and it's really impressive looking.
Right. So you got the barbecue with pops, you got the sweet treats with mom, right? Man, so hey, you got no problem putting on size then, right, Brody? Oh man. So talk to me about Sil, you got some questions. Yeah, Jezebel's got questions. Jezebel, I'm trying to be a podcaster here, you know what I mean?
Okay, let's see. Where do we start? Okay, Andrew wants to know, are we going to see Violence Unlimited back together ever?
Never say never, but we are in the same company, Tyler Bateman and I. For those of you that don't know, Violence Unlimited was mine and Tyler Bateman's tag team. When he joined Ring of Honor, I thought that it was going to be a lot more likely, and then he kind of veered off in this weird path of him and Vincent being these two wacko serial killer guys. So I don't know what's going on in his brain right now, but as of right now, there's no plan, but never say never.
Okay. Also, Arsenal 07 wants to know, any thoughts on going to AEW or WWE, or are you content staying at Ring of Honor?
At least for right now, I'm very happy with where I'm at Ring of Honor, especially with the last year. They've done nothing but take care of us. I think that speaks a lot for their character and how they want to treat us as performers. For most of the year, they didn't ask anything of us. They just said, stay home, stay healthy, and we'll get to it when we can. And then we started tapings. I think they started doing the Pure title tournament in July or August, and then we did our first set of tapings in like late August or September. So we had a good 6-7 months off where they didn't ask anything of us, and they kept sending the payments. So I'm forever grateful for them for the way that they treated us in such a bad situation.
And I mean, not only like you're going on a good, like I was watching those matches, you're going on a good singles run. We were rooting for you to bring the Ring of Honor Championship home to Santino Brothers. But I don't see it. I still see it in the sight. I see the light at the end of the tunnel coming still. And so I think, you got a great position going on at Ring of Honor, man.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better position to be in. When we come back from a pandemic and all this crazy shit that's happened, and everything's up in the air and nobody knows what's going to go on, and they look at me and they go, "You're the guy. You're going to be main eventing Final Battle." It's like, what? Like me? So I just want to be able to make everybody proud across the board.
Man, you're definitely making me and Santino Brothers proud. A lot of people talk about 2020 sucks, right? It's a terrible year, right? And I get it, but I mean, people like you have had a good year, considering in wrestling, and not only that, Brody King has been wrestling for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not only that, Brody King faced Kenta on December 18th. And tell us about that match and tell us what it meant to you. I saw you posted on Twitter, so I thought I'd bring it up because it's been a good last couple of months for Brody King.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to say that 2020 professionally was probably one of my best years in wrestling because I didn't do much of it, but what I did do, the quality outweighed the quantity by far. When I started wrestling, it was guys like Kenta that like really blew my mind as what you can do as a professional wrestler. And to be able to step in the ring with him was a dream come true. It was a bucket list moment. We did an 8-man tag where I pinned Kenta with the Gonzo bomb. That was pretty insane. And then having a match with him for the IWGP US briefcase was insane. Just to have those, like, to have the trust of the company that I've always wanted to work for put into me like that was was everything.
I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? Like in my career, I didn't have many goals, right? I had one goal from the beginning was right to wrestle in Japan. And I think I said wrestle in Japan because wrestle for New Japan is a little tougher, right? But really the ultimate goal is always to wrestle New Japan, to see guys like you, even DKC. It looks like DKC became an official Young Lion. Just to see you guys do that at that level, it really makes me proud, right? It's part of me, right? Not accomplishing my goals or becoming an underachiever, but it's seeing you guys accomplish it and saying, well, at least I could see that and watch it. And it makes me feel great to see you do that, man. To really, and not only he's so humble, he wouldn't even say he beat Kenta in that match, right? People talk, wrestling this, that, and the other, right? It takes a lot of trust to say we're going to put this guy over on a solid wrestler that's known, and because we're building him, and so I totally see the star power that I hope and wish that everybody else is seeing right now, at least in the singles division that you're doing right now. I want you to talk to us a little bit about. So you talked to us about why you stuck with professional wrestling. Now I know there were some tough times, right, on just trying to get booked, maybe trying to get your name out there, trying to figure out how does this wrestling business work. What was something that helped you along the way to figure out how to get booked on some of the most important shows in the United States and even in Japan?
Just be nice to people. Nice. It's just about making friends and being a nice person, and that goes a long way. Like you've spoken about my work ethic. I don't ever look at it as like I have to work hard. It's just like kind of who I am as a person. Like when in between doing training at Santino's, I was also going to the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood gym in Sherman Oaks, where Rocky Romero would hold Wednesday night classes. And there would be like 5 people there, and which always blew my mind because it's like, this is the guy that works for the company that you all want to be at. And he's literally training in your backyard for $10 or whatever it was. Like, why isn't there people here? Which, I mean, I guess kind of worked out to my benefit because I got to create a really, close friendship with Rocky. And he helped me out a lot. Also, like, just being friends with the boys in the back when I was doing ring crew for PCW helped me a lot. When I went up to do Defy, they booked me because they had seen my stuff at PCW. And then when I got there, one of the owner, Jim Perry, was a music guy. So he'd already known about me and my band through music, and it kind of translated over into wrestling. And then we became friends. And Shane Strickland remembered me from PCW. And when we had our match, he kind of put me over to everyone he knew. And that's how I got booked at AAW, and I got booked at MLW. And then from there, it just kind of like caught on. It's like, the more that I saw the familiar faces, the more my name just kept getting passed around to bigger promotions. Like, I remember being on some AWS shows, maybe with Jeff Cobb. He had done a Santino show, and like, we'd become loose friends, but he kept putting my name over to PWG. And then eventually between him and Rick Knox and Justin Borden, I got booked at PWG. So it's all about making friends and being a good person, I guess.
If you ask me today, Brody, I'd rather hire a good person than a great professional wrestler. Seriously, it goes a long way. Like, you don't want to be burning bridges; you want to be building them.
There's a few examples that I will not give of incredible professional wrestlers that are really piece of shit humans.
Yeah, it definitely happens, right?
Right now, seriously, because running shows is a lot of work, and you need everyone's cooperation. If someone's giving you a hard time, it's like, bro, come on, we're all trying to work on a team. This is like really a team deal, just not one-on-one. Because you're looking at the whole show, you're structuring the whole show. You talk about
PWG. And I wanted to ask you, were you a fan of PWG? Was that during when you were going to wrestling school? Because it seemed that when you debuted, everybody knew who Brody King was. It was almost like one of ours is on the big stage. I mean, that's what I kind of when I peeled back the potato and kind of figured out what was going on. Was that kind of how it was, or were you going before wrestling school, or how did that work out?
No, so I went to my first PWG show like very early on in my wrestling training, and I like continued to go. There's a lot of video of me and Andy Williams, the Butcher in AEW, just sitting in the crowd together, watching and like being fans of what was going on. And it wasn't a fan of like me just loving wrestling, but me trying to learn, like watching these guys and like wondering what's going on in their head or how they thought of these crazy ass matches. And sometimes we would have seminars with the guys that would be on those shows, and I would try to ask them questions like while they're selling merch, and they're probably like, "Get the fuck away from me, Mark." But I think once I got on that stage, I kind of understood more, and I would still ask questions. I remember I got a really good compliment from Trevor Lee once, where it was Bola. It was my first Bola, so it was 2018. Yeah, I think. I don't know. 2018. And he said, the thing I really like about you, Brody, is all of these guys that are debuting for PWG for the first time, they go out, they do their match, and then they go fuck off and they joke around in the back. He's like, you watch every single match that is out there, and then you'll ask questions to the guys about why they did certain things. He's like, and that tells me that you want to learn and that you want to be better. So, and I, that wasn't even anything I was like thinking about. I didn't know that he was watching me watch the matches, but he noticed that. And like, that meant a lot to me that he was able to give me more notes that way. And he was more open to giving, and like a lot of people were like, "Oh, Trevor Lee's an asshole." But like, he was one of the coolest guys to me because he knew that I wanted to be there and I wanted to be better.
Right. That's the work, right? Like, let me ask you, you're a wrestler, you're in the back, you see who's working, you see who's not working, right? Even when you're not paying attention.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. So, and that goes a long way.
Mental checklists all the time.
Right? Yes. Of course, right? You put them on the bullshit list. Oh, you didn't shake my hand. All right, motherfucker, you're one of those. That's me. I won't say anything to you. I'll still smile and laugh at you and laugh at your jokes, but I'll be like, he didn't shake my hand. Fuck him. Yeah, I mean, it may never come up, but it is on my mental shit list. You also brought up Defy, and I just wanted to mention that you got this picture. There must be at least 300 people with a ski mask, and Brody King is standing there right in the middle, right? You see him in all his tattoos, and I think that's probably one of the coolest pro wrestling pictures that I've ever seen in my life. Like, really, like legitimately, like just straight up to have all these people like wearing your shit. Like, I mean, how do you do? You got to be over to do that, right? So, man, kudos to you, Mr. Brody. I mean, you mystify. Let me ask you this. Here's one. What put you on the spot? What end did you miss the most?
Defy,
huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. That was hands down the one I missed the most. Luckily I'm able to do PWG, and it would be very tight between PWG and Defy, but Defy just has this like, it just has something different. The people there, they just want to be entertained, they want to have fun, they want to be part of the show. And they really took me in as like one of their own. It's like I became like the local guy just because I lived on the West Coast. Or for whatever reason, I don't know. I became like their guy. And like you said, that was my last match at Defy. And I remember before I went out the curtain, Matt Farmer, the booker, he said, when you walk out, just look around. And I was like, what the fuck does he mean just look around? And I'm like trying to get hyped up for the match. And I walk out of the curtain, and like at first I don't notice anything. And then like I like look to my left and my right, and there's just like everyone's wearing a ski mask. And I was just like, and I just got like overwhelmed with emotion. And I'm like trying to like, hold back tears with the ski mask on, trying to look tough. And I was like, well, this is fucking cool. And then in between my contracts with Ring of Honor, they allowed me to go do Defy's 3-year anniversary show. And I was a surprise person there. And I wrestled one of their guys, Cody Chun. He was like getting super over babyface. And he went out and cut this promo on how, you know, it's the anniversary show. And he had just won match of the year with Jake Atlas for the promotion. So he's like, you know, I won this trophy, but I don't have anybody to wrestle tonight. And then my music hit and the place like went insane. And that was like that. I think that's maybe one of my favorite moments in wrestling is that moment, even more so than MSG maybe, because it was like the whole room just became alive for me. And that was like such a weird experience.
Right. It doesn't matter, right? The magic that's made in that middle of the ring. And that's what I tell a lot of people. And I think Jezebel's got a question next from the people. But just that magic in the ring, there's nothing else like it. Being in that middle of that ring, whether they're cheering you or jeering you, right? You're either way, you're doing your job, you know. And I mean, that's a magical moment. And just seeing that picture, now hearing the story behind it, I mean, that's pretty awesome, Brody. Jezebel, you got a question for Mr. King?
Okay, Arsenal 07 again wants to know what would be your dream match and who would it be against?
I mean, this question is always so tricky because it's like I think it changes like every day. You know, Kente was one of my dream matches that just happened. I think currently my dream matches are probably Chris Hero and Shingo Takagi, probably.
Nice. You know what? I think you said that once, and Chris Hero tweeted a picture of him at the seminar with you there at Santino Brothers Wrestling, and that would be an excellent match. I think he's just about your size too, 6'5" or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we match up pretty equally, and you know, I took a lot from Chris as a professional wrestler. I mean, he was a big guy that could do really cool athletic stuff, and that was who I wanted to be like. And you know, he was also very kind, and when he came and did like a seminar, I think he was there for like 4 or 5 hours, and he just kind of like spilled
5 hours.
And he was always very nice to me whenever I would see him and we would interact. So I would definitely love to get in the ring with him.
I always just love watching him, and he would do, you know, that front nip up that the British Bulldog does. He kind of goes on his head. Chris Hero would do that over the top rope, nip from the fucking apron onto the floor like nothing. I think Claudio Castagnoli could do it too, but like, man, it was like, I think the first guy saw it was Chris Hero doing it. I'm just like, how did he do that? Like, how did he jump over the top rope, land on his feet like it was nothing? Like,
the thing that I always like that he did was the Masawa / like Rey Mysterio fake dive thing where he would like grab the rope and like flip over it and like be holding it. I remember I tried it a couple times and I almost decapitated myself at Los Luchas. I was like, all right, we're good on that one. That one is one that I don't think I should try again.
Yeah, I don't think Cactus Jack was doing that exact move, but that's exactly what he did to rip his ear off, right? Like getting your head cut between the ropes. Yeah.
So when I did it, somehow my head got like underneath the middle and it like started to wrap up like it would do the same thing like Cactus Jack did. I was like, nope, we're not doing that.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, I talk about rope. Brody's a guy, right? 6'5". I don't know if he could do it now, but at the time he must have been 265 plus pounds. He spring up to the top rope, right? That's no big fucking deal, right? Then he takes a back bump on the fucking top rope and then goes back to his feet. Who can do that? Who can do that, right? Hey, and I'm cheering him on, but I'm still telling him, hey, man, wrestle like a big man. Hey, but that was pretty cool, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely funny to see like how my wrestling has progressed to now, and I credit a lot to that to the New Japan style of wrestling. You know, I don't have to do as much as I used to. Like watching that match with Jake. If we did that match again today, I'm sure that we could make that like an hour-long match, and it was probably 15 minutes. We were going so fast and doing so many things that I was like, slow down, kid. But you know, it all just comes with learning and injuries and whatever else. But I don't, people say like, would you change your style thinking back? And it's like, well, that's what got me to the show. So no, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, I definitely right. I mean, if you watch that stuff now that he's doing, it's hard hit. He's still, I think you still doubt, right? I think you dove on Roosh. Oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, brother. Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, a pleasure to watch the brawl, like a real brawler these days, right? Who's a real brawler these days? And I'm seeing like when I'm watching Brody King, man, I'm like, it's reminding me of the guys of like Stan Hansen and Brody and Bruiser Brody.
Play, that's why. Right?
Hey, and I don't know, man. I've been in the ring. He's got paws. Brody's got paws. And that shit looks like you look like you're murdering the guys. And I gotta say, like, no, man, he knows how to work, but I gotta be like, I don't know, man. Maybe he pissed them off in the back. We
just saw the match with Jake Ellis, chopped him like 10 times.
Oh well, Jake definitely pissed him off in the back.
After that match, I remember Jake went up to Emily, my wife, and he was like, "Look what your husband did to my chest," and his chest was all fucked up and bleeding or whatever. And then she goes, "Yeah, well, you broke his jaw," and he goes, "No, I didn't." And then he came running over to me, and I'm like holding my tooth that's split in half, and had to get emergency jaw surgery the next day right before Christmas. So
really,
thanks, Jake.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I have a picture somewhere where he's got it looks like a movie, bro. He's got the thing wrapped around his head, and it's got like I can see little Tweety birds flying around his head. Yeah, and his mouth is all swollen.
Wasn't it wired shut?
Yeah,
it ended up being wired shut, right?
Yeah, for 8 weeks, and I wrestled. So the doctor said, under no circumstance can you wrestle for at least 6 months. And I said, okay. And then the next weekend, I wrestled for AAW in a cage match, and I wrestled Darby Allin in a no ring match. And then I wrestled for Ring of Honor for 2 months. So, what do doctors know?
Hey, you were calling it old school in the ring, right? Like, 'cause when I wrestled Tracy Smothers, everything was really like this, and he barely moved his lips if he could. If he didn't, like, he was really good at it. And so that must have been you, right?
Oh yeah, it was miserable. I could talk pretty good with my teeth closed, but breathing sucked, and especially if your hair went in front of your face while you're trying to breathe, and you can't eat anything. Like when I was traveling and wrestling, I would only drink muscle milk. It's like there's no, or it was a treat if there was like a Jamba Juice or some kind of like smoothie place around that I could get like a protein smoothie. But other than that, it was like 10 muscle milks a day. I think I lost 40 pounds just from not eating solid food.
So right now, you're putting that size back on, huh?
Trying to make up.
So it came back like in a heartbeat. It was like, oh, my jaw's not wired shut anymore. Let me eat an entire pizza.
How was the first steak back? Did you think like it's gonna hurt? My jaw's gonna hurt or what? Because
I didn't really know what to expect. So the first day I got my jaw unwired, I actually wrestled Jungle Boy at PWG, and for some reason I thought that like once it was unwired, I would be able to have full movement. But like your muscles are still so tense and like they haven't gotten stretched out in so long that I could like open it like a half an inch and it like hurt really bad. So it was not smart to have a match the same day I got the wires cut off, but
Hey, and what was Emily thinking? Like she was down for the cause 100%. You wrestling with your with your jaw shut?
Yeah, I mean, like I remember she's always been, had my back and been by my side. I remember waking up from jaw surgery, and the doctor leaves the room after telling me not to wrestle for 6 months, and she goes, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "Well, I need to drop the title next week." She said, "Just be careful." I think I had three shows left, and I ended up canceling one of them, and because it was like in New York, it was like an unnecessary travel for a promotion I hadn't even worked for before. But like AAW, I was the AAW champ, so I had to finish up my stuff with them, and then it was going to be my last match with Darby in LA. So that was like, okay, I'll do that one too. I mean, you live and you learn. I would have probably still done them if it happened again. You only live once, right?
Right. Yeah. Hey, right. They say pro wrestlers are tough, right? And that's cool to say, but Brody's living proof.
Well,
That's some tough shit.
Hey, me personally, I think Brody plays too rough. I seen him take a senton dive with no one catching him straight to the cement.
Brody
Right?
plays. He didn't break his own jaw.
No, I know, but hey,
okay, wait. You say wrestlers are tough, but
Yeah.
aren't you the one who always told me that wrestlers are also a crazy kind of stupid?
Hey, you're still tough though.
Tougher than shit.
Yeah.
Well, also Emily's tough, his wife, to have to put up with that. That would
oh,
be
putting it
crazy.
with Brody, woo!
Okay.
Yeah, you
So,
gotta be pretty tough.
So my wife was 8 months pregnant when I broke my jaw. So like at the time where I'm supposed to be taking care of her, she's taking care of me. So yeah, I definitely, I owe everything to her for being by my side through everything.
And right, we already know Brody's hardcore, but let me tell you how hardcore he really is. This wasn't at Madison Square Garden in front of 22,000 people. This was at an 800 square foot dojo in Bell Gardens, California, where I think there was 100 people there, but they were all like 50 of them were outside the dojo. This is where Brody King is like laying it all on the line. That's how hardcore Brody is.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a fan of the guys that just like call it in on the easy shows or whatever. Like, if I'm in the ring and there's people there to see me, well, I guess not. Now there's no one there to see me, but still, like, I got to put on the best product I can.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Because you got to think these kids or these people are working all week till Friday, putting in their hard-earned money to go see you wrestle, and you're going to mail it in, especially on the indie level. On the indie level, we should be working 10 times harder than anyone on national television and showing these people. And there you go, Brody King, right in the little dojo. And I put my head down every time we talk about him breaking. I remember, like, fuck, that's my speech. That's my speech. I'll say a lot of motivational shit, but I always say, don't get hurt. Nobody get hurt. You're not allowed to get hurt.
Yeah. So far, I think I've had 2 torn ACLs, broken jaw, broken hand, concussion. Who else? Who knows what else?
Broken leg? You're not even going to mention the broken
Oh,
leg?
yeah. I broke my leg too. Yeah. Well, I broke my leg and then wrestled a match the next night in, I don't know, at the UEW arena in front of 10 people, and was like, there's something funny feeling in my leg. I went to work the next day, going up and down ladders, and then I thought that it was like a muscle cramp, and I was like, I'm gonna go get like a massage maybe this weekend. I did that match on a Friday night, and I was like, it still feels weird. I went to an emergency room. I was like, hey, can I get an X-ray of my leg? I think there's something wrong with it. And they're like, they had me do like squats and like get on my tippy toes and stand on one leg. And they're like, yeah, I think you're fine. I'm like, well, let's just get an X-ray just in case. And they're like, yeah, you broke your leg. I'm like, well,
Jeez.
And
so
you're the
then I was, and the same thing happened when I broke my jaw. It's like so I've broken my jaw twice. One was in a fight and one was in wrestling. When I broke it in a fight, they had me like bite down on like a tongue depressor, and like they had me open and close my mouth, and like, yeah, I don't think your jaw is broken, because I could do all these things. I was talking fine. And then they took the X-ray and they're like, yeah, your jaw's broken, which kind of leading to the wrestling story. This was right when God's Hate started. Our first tour was that next weekend after I broke my jaw. So I did the first 3 God's Hate shows with a broken jaw, singing.
Brody King, right? So, like, if you're a dreamer out there, right, you're on this Santino Brothers Wrestling channel, and you want to come to wrestling school, right? And you might think, okay, I know it's not fake, right? I get it. You got to be one tough son of a motherfucker. You know what I mean?
So this is a warning. This is a warning to any kid that does my class when I'm at Santino's. If you tell me you're hurt and you're not fucking got a broken bone or you're bleeding out of somewhere. If you just tell me that you're hurt and you can't do it, you have no pity from me.
Yeah, and you know what? And he might not say anything. He's just gonna put you on that mental shit list. Fuck this guy.
Yep.
Oh man, I really appreciate you joining us. Hey, you know, my music teacher used to say, I don't know if you know, I used to play the saxophone.
What?
Yeah, my music teacher used to say, time flies when you're having a great time. And we went a full hour, Brody. And I didn't even get to half of the questions that I have written to you because just talking to you is just like talking shop. But I wanted to ask you this. I do have one standard question for my podcast is, if COVID ended right now, it was all good, shows are back in, you can go to concerts all you want, what would you do? What's the first thing you're going to do?
I'm going to the movie theater with my wife, and we're going to go out to dinner afterwards.
Fuck yeah.
That's cool.
Right? Yes. Awesome, man. That's been
Are you
my
on the
one
shit list right now, Brody?
No.
No, he loves his wife.
No, hey, totally agree. It was just,
I love the movie theater. So the movie theater is like, that is my like spot. Any date night or whatever, it has to involve a movie. I go to the movies probably every week, so that was always my getaway, and not having the movie theater definitely sucked.
So, hey, watching it on streaming just don't do it for you, huh?
No, I like that dark theater with a big ass bucket of popcorn, nobody talking. I'm like the biggest like movie stickler too. Like if people are whispering within earshot of me, I'm just like, hey, shut the fuck up. And like to the point where Emily says like she gets anxious when she hears people around me talking because she knows that I'm just gonna fucking yell at them.
What's your favorite movie
Of all time?
Yeah,
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, come on,
I
Brody.
love it. Lady Gaga, Beetlejuice, right? Hey, don't judge the book by its cover.
I know.
Oh man, so hey, thank you, Brody. I really appreciate you joining us. Make sure to follow Brody on Twitter, his Twitch. It's at Brody X King. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Anything you wanna tell the viewers, all these potential grapplers that want to get out there? Anything you want to tell anybody else for our podcast viewers today before we end it?
Work your ass off. Be a good person, and just remember that somebody's always watching. I mean, I think I don't remember who said it, but somebody's always watching hard workers. You might not think it in the moment, but when you're doing ring crew and you think that if you're there at 2 a.m. breaking down the ring, you're like, this fucking sucks. Somebody is watching you going, that is a hard ass worker, and they know your name. Trust me.
Yeah, there you have it, right? Take it from Brody King. He's a very likable person. It's not only about having the look, it's not only about having the skills in the ring, but you have to be likable. Like Mongo says, I'd rather book a nice person that's an okay wrestler than a person that's a great wrestler with a shitty attitude, but great enough. Brody King's got both. He's a great wrestler with a great attitude. So hey man, I appreciate you jumping on here. I was gonna try to highlight a lot of the young alumni, starting with Lucas, and I said, you know what, man, we need to put some star power on here, because otherwise no one gonna pay attention to the podcast. So I was like, hey, we gotta have Brody King come on second. So I really appreciate you joining us and just shooting the shit, talking with us, trying to build some content for our channel.
I'm very proud of you, Brody, too. I know I don't speak to you too much, though, but all the hard work, that you put in, and you showed to everyone that, hey, you just got to put in the work and work hard. It doesn't matter what size you are. And Brody's done that,
Thank you. And speaking of young talent, once COVID is over, I'm definitely excited. Lucas Riley is fucking jacked now. He's huge.
Right?
He looks like a man now.
Everybody says they've been working and working out,
hey,
right?
We know who's been working hard and who's not.
You can see it.
Lucas,
Right?
I met him when he was when he turned 16 years old. He came into a class at the dojo, and me and Robbie ran through a couple spots with one of his friends. And yeah, man, from being a little 16-year-old kid to is he 21 yet?
Who knows, brother? He faved us on his age to get in early,
So,
Yeah.
he's definitely one to look out for. Dom Kubrick and Slice Boogie. Those are my boys. Can't wait to see what they got coming.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to seeing their bright future. Looking forward to seeing your bright future. And I gotta it's not only me, it's not Mongo, not only Jezebel, but all of Santino brothers always rooting for you. We're doing our online class. And I always tell the guys, hey, we're gonna have Jake Atlas and Brody King to do the Q&A, and man, they get so pumped up just to see that, and then they see Brody King wrestling for a title, or Jake Atlas wrestling on TV, and they're like, oh yeah, that's one of us. But they're all rooting for you guys, because they started. You started right where they started, so it's always something to kind of see someone actually out there doing it. So we're totally proud of you. And so I appreciate you having you on today, Brody.
No problem. We'll have to do part 2 coming up.
Yeah, hey man, whenever you want, man, I'll bring you back on. We'll do it again, man. All right, Brody King, we really appreciate it, man. I want you to have a good night. Say hi to the family for me, and take care, brother.
Love you,
All
Brody.
right, thanks, Bossy. Bye,
All right.
Sil. Bye.
That was awesome. So we had Brody King with us, and we're just about to wrap it up here. But yeah, always having the alumni on is always so special, talking to these guys, and I hope that that everybody viewing gets something out of it. They actually are able to get, because they want to have the ability of being a potential grappler and seeing what it's all about, getting into the ring and doing it, and hearing these stories, I think really helps and breaks it down. So I hope you're taking this information and writing it down, because this is gold right there. And now a couple of shout outs. We want to shout out to Roman Garcia.
Roman!
Yeah, it was Roman Garcia's watching today, so really appreciate that. I've seen a lot of people on there: Bill Chu, Jose Alberto Medina, Charlie Wu, Lupe was watching, Pete Houston Body, Macario was watching. Who you said hi? Yeah, Hyde.
Jose Alberto.
Yep, Eric Denton from YouTube, Death Calhoun from YouTube was watching. Daniel Diaz from Mexico was watching. Arsenal 07. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. And so next week we're gonna have another Santino Brothers alumni. Who's coming in? Mongo.
Tito Escondido.
Bad dude Tito. All right. Let's throw his graphic up there, and hold on. I'm let's go and tune it in. Thank you, Mongo. Thank you, Jezebel.
Thank you,
Thank
boss
you,
man.
Jezebel. And you know what? So next week we're gonna have Bad Dude Tito this coming Friday. I'm gonna have actually hangs with Bob Evans, Coach Bob Evans. I'm gonna have him on the podcast. I don't know if Mongo's gonna be here. We'll see if he's gonna be here, but I'll be on this Friday, and I believe it's gonna be 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. his time, or 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. his time. That'll be this Friday, so we'll be talking to Brutal Bob Evans, Coach Brutal Bob Evans. If you're not following him on Facebook, definitely give him a follow. He's got a load of knowledge when it comes to professional wrestling, and just life in general, teaching the young potential grapplers out there. So make sure to tune in right here on this YouTube channel. We'll have Brutal Bob Evans on, and then next week we're back next Tuesday with our we're highlighting the alumni with Bad Dude Tito. So appreciate everybody watching today. Really thank you. So everybody take care. Have a safe night, and we will catch you on the flip.
Double dip.
All right, guys.
Bye.